Oh, huh. Wow. Are we living life today or what, guys? The memes. In this house, Luigi, how do you pronounce his name? Mangoni is a hero. End of story. I have seen some good memes. Not good to be killing CEOs. And all the people that are supporting this guy are pretty but a lot of good memes. What can you say? What do you want me to say? Some of them are funny. What season of The Sopranos are you on? It's still season 1. Me and Lena watch it, so if she's not here, we're not watching it, so give me a month. All of the people who were swaying about him having a family member who died because of denial. Wait, what does that sentence mean? All the people who were swaying about him having a... Wait, all the people were swaying about him having a family member who died because of denial. Oh, I understand. Never mind. Okay. Do you think you'd be able to get away with a killing? I mean, personally, I think I'm a pretty smart guy. I think I could. I think the problem is that if I were to draw a Venn diagram of the people that I could get away with killing, and then like a Venn diagram of the people that I would actually like want to kill, it would look like this. Because like the only way you could do it, it would have to be like somebody totally disconnected in any possible way from my life. It probably in a totally different geographic area. But at that point, it'd be like, why the fuck would I even want to kill somebody like this, right? At what point do you think you'd be sympathetic to the public endorsing blatant terrorism / assassination to get the ball rolling on changes? The issue that I have, there are a lot of issues that I have with the killing thing, okay? And the anger around the insurance and the CEO bullshit, okay? This is my issue, all right? You know what? You know what? I wanted to spend a day, not a day, it would take like 20 minutes to learn how to read those little heart graphs so that we could know all the abbreviations. Like what is it? Like long QR and all this bullshit. I think there's your heart works by like there has to be like a consistent like contraction and expansion of muscles of the heart to move blood in and out of the heart, right? It's like, it's a whole ass thing, okay? I don't know what it's an abbreviation for, but sometimes your heart can be in a state called VFib, ventricular fibrillation, all right? I think that part of what this is basically happening is your heart, instead of like the whole thing moving and being like doing all the thing, right? It's like it's all like it's all going, it's all crazy, all right? It's all wacky, all right? And VFib is one of the few times where you actually use a defibrillator. And the goal in shocking it is to get all of the heart back in alignment so that it's all kind of like moving like and doing its job. I feel like when I see a lot of anger in no direction, it feels like a heart in VFib, to where you have a lot of anger and a lot of people who are upset, but there's no direction, so nothing will happen. And that's always the issue. I try to focus more on that over the past year. I think I've said that a lot. Like the biggest issue with all the conspiratorial nonsense and all of the like misdirected anger isn't the fact that it's conspiracies and misdirection. It's the fact that you're not talking about something that's more important. Yeah, that's my issue, I guess. Health insurance companies and anger at health insurance companies are never going to fix anything related to our healthcare shit. That's just not the main issue. So I mean, like when people get mad at it and they want to see changes, they're like, it's just not. Like Obamacare, the ACA capped the ACA even capped the administrative spending to like 2080. I think 20% of spending from all. What do you call it when you make an insurance payment? From all dues? No, there's a specific word for this. All the insurance payments you receive have to be, it's like 2080, have to be 80% to care, 20% to administrative cost. Oh, premiums, yeah, maybe that might be, yeah. So it's just not even, it's just not the thing. That's just not what's gonna, yeah. But so I guess that's my only issue. Would you say the core of the issue is that the political sentiment to fix the problem isn't in the voter base at the moment? The issue starts with, it's primarily an issue of analysis. The issue of analysis is we don't even know what's wrong. Like for instance, The reality is, and no one on the internet wants to hear it, most people in the United States are happy with their healthcare. Most people in the United States get their healthcare through their employer. Most people in the United States like it. That's the reality. But the issue is people don't even know that. They think in the US, everybody hates health. Everybody fucking, it's too expensive. The ambulances, I'll die. Everybody, it's the worst fucking thing ever. Right? But like, so then when you go to do things like, you know, universal healthcare and you go to poll people on it and you're like, well, what the fuck? Why isn't this passing? Well, now you don't even know why it's not passing. It must be the lobbyists. It must be the corruption. It must be the evil health CEOs and the compensation and Bill Gates. And now you have to look for some advice. But the reality is most people are happy with it as is. As fucked and as stupid as like tying it to your employer shit is. Yeah. So it's like, what do you, like you're fucked. You're already starting from a place you don't even know like what the people think. Yeah. Your selection bias is not reality, man. Like, look, I can just read through all the comments in my YouTube chat. The charging for anesthesia thing was instantly rolled back, though, so maybe it had a difference. Yeah, but did that even matter? Do you even know? You don't even know what that was about. You probably don't. You probably have no idea. Like, you have no clue. I'm not convinced that's true. LeMayo, okay, streamer. That is not true. That is not a reality. Raffle. Source? Rare L take. What? That's so crap. I demand sources. Totally out of touch. Destiny's another rich guy out of touch. LOL. Like, I think healthcare right now pulls the lowest I believe it ever has. This is what it pulls at. 48% of Americans say that it's excellent or good. 31% say that it's fair. 21% say it's poor. Like, if you go to Twitter or if you ask all the dipshits in chat that say that I'm out of touch, you guys think that like 80% of Americans would rate the healthcare as like poor. Like, it's just not, it's just not true. I know that upsets you. I'm sorry. I know that makes you ass pained as fuck. But like, and it's funny. Like, look, like positive views of U.S. healthcare by U.S. healthcare quality by age. Isn't that crazy? The people that rate it the lowest, 18 to 34, are the people that don't even really use it that much. So you are definitionally out of touch. It's people who've never even had engagement with healthcare, who've never even gone to a doctor before, like, oh yeah, U.S. healthcare is fucking terrible, blah, blah, blah. But crazy that the people that engage with it the most are generally like, okay with it, right? But, you know. At Destiny, you say that average Americans don't have problems with their health care, but you're not considering the fact that the average American isn't suffering from terminal illness or major surgery. What do you think you're contradicting there? What do you think that what you just said contradicts with whatever I just said? What? I feel like most people get denied before they can use it. Yes, you feel that way because you have no idea what anything is in the real world. You, like, in your mind, you think, wow, I guess like everybody gets denied for health coverage and nobody gets anything covered. Like, it's just, but whatever, you know. Is it that younger people don't use it, or that they are the ones disproportionately affected by cost impacts? What? No, it's that younger people probably have far less engagement. I'm gonna do one of the very rare things where I'm gonna pull a self-evident common sense thing at you. Young people are generally healthier than older people. Do I need to source that? I feel like I can safely, one of the few times I will safely assert something without a source. Younger people are generally healthier than older people. Funny how you cite consumer feelings about healthcare, but also rightly make fun of the fact that like 30% of people thought we were in a recession until a few months ago. I'm not making the same argument with the same citations. Right now, I'm only arguing, like, my conclusion is the same for both of those. That I'm not arguing with you objectively over whether or not US healthcare is good or bad. I'm just saying that if you're going to start from a point of analysis, you have to start from the fact that most Americans are okay with their healthcare. Because if you don't even start here, then all you're going to be left is floundering for like, oh, I don't know why people don't want universal healthcare. I don't know what. Because people don't want to give their private insurance. People like the insurance through their employer. As fucking retarded as that is, people like it in the US. We've just grown accustomed to it. But I would have said the same thing about the vibe session, right? I'm not sitting here saying like, oh God, like we have to do, like Americans are so happy with the economy. We need to, it's like, oh no, fuck, Americans are really unhappy with the economy. We got to figure out why. What are we going to do about it? Like I have the same perspective on both. Hey, question. Is the survey asking about healthcare or about U.S. health insurance? They are not the same thing. Yeah, I know you want to endlessly fucking figure out like what exactly. Well, I'm talking about health insurance. I'm talking about private 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 health insurance. Employer they've actually used before. They cope it. Okay. You don't have to do anything. Also, by the way, you can just complain aimlessly because at this point, I don't give a fuck. Suffer and die, okay? I'm rich. It doesn't affect me at the end of the day, all right? Remember to like and subscribe. But if you do actually want to fix problems, you have to start with analyzing how people even feel about them, if you actually want to fix them. But if you just want to complain about Twitter on them, then just fucking soy out, I guess. Knock yourselves out. I don't care. Can you really say people don't want universal insurance because they don't mind their current thing? I think most people would just not want it based on political party. Most people wouldn't want it because if you have something that works, people are scared of losing that thing. That's why most people wouldn't want to ban private insurance. Now, that doesn't say whether or not it would be better or worse. That's just how people feel. What are Reddit answers? Do I care about this? Do people get to choose if they pay into a public option? Right now in the US, we don't have a public option. I don't know what you mean by that. Hold on one second. Thoughts on this acquittal? Oh, the chokehold guy? I don't know. I feel like when we watched the video, I felt like it was way too long. That like I could totally understand like a manslaughter 2 charge or something. Definitely, I wouldn't say a murder. No murder 1 or 2, but like manslaughter 1 or manslaughter 2 maybe. Yeah, but like if we were to implement a public option, would everyone have to pay into it? If even there is a, oh yeah, you probably have to, you'd have to pay more taxes or something. Yeah, for sure. Okay. Also, the service of insurance providing volatility reduction of your risk is something that is not directly in your face, giving people possibly a false impression of a lack of value. Maybe. There was also the point that one guy brought up that I forgot, is that we shouldn't even call it like health insurance anymore because we don't really use it like insurance. We expect to use it to cover like ordinary medical stuff, which is kind of weird. Like people get insurance for cheaper prescriptions. That's not really insurance. That's like a subscription plan. It's something different, yeah. But Destiny, why are you ignoring the clear behavior of these insurance companies making decisions that clearly prioritize profit? because okay, hold on. I'm so sorry. Fuck. Remind me to say this again in a few hours, okay? When there are more people. Okay, listen, okay? Just to be clear, all right? Please do not misunderstand me. I am a capitalist. I support capitalism. I am a capitalist. I am a liberal, like liberalism, capitalist. I am not a socialist. I am not a communist. If you are, I think you are a cuck, and I think you're retarded. And I will never be you. I will never be your group of people. I will never be a socialist. I will never be a communist. Let me just reiterate that a million times. You might hear me talk about wealth redistribution or government incentives or, green energy. I am not a socialist. I am not a communist. I will never be a socialist. I will never be a communist. It will never, ever, ever happen, okay? Most likely, okay? Jesus Christ, okay? That out of the way. When you tell me, all you're saying is that, how do you respond to the fact that a firm is trying to maximize profit? My answer is no fucking shit, dipshit. Yes, every firm's goal is to maximize profit. No shit. Obviously. Same thing with the builders that build homes, the clothers that sell clothes, the grocers that sell groceries. Yes. Should medical services be heavily monetized? Shouldn't a government prioritize the well-being of its citizens? I mean, you have to figure out what the best way to do that is. You could do it through planned economy. You could do it through capitalist economy. I mean, it just depends on how you do it. There's pros and cons to both. But what you have to understand is that this is the issue that you think, okay? It's like the classic triangle of like everything. Americans think right now we have like this, I think. We get like our treatment times are incredibly fast and we're always on the cutting edge. We always want the latest drug, the latest surgery, the best. We always want this, okay? But it comes at a cost premium. It costs a lot of money, okay? What you guys think is that if we just have the government come in, we can have all of this. That's not true. If you want to make it cheaper, you're probably going to take away a little bit from this. You're probably going to take away a little bit from this, which is fine. That's okay. It's just a decision you have to make. People think that like the current medical environment is just like fucking us over completely, but it's not. It's just solving for different problems because Americans have decided that they want healthcare fast and that they want the cutting edge on everything. That's what American consumers have decided. Now, if we want to say that American consumers are making stupid choices, and we don't actually need the 10% marginally better drug for a 300% cost premium. We don't need this. This is wasted money, right? And instead, we should be going towards accessibility and bringing down cost a little bit. That might have to be a government decision where the government comes and says, you know what? We're not covering this. You're not going to have this. Just fuck off on this so that more people have access or availability, maybe, right? And no, you don't need to be able to schedule an MRI or an appointment and have one tomorrow, okay, because you have a cough or whatever. You can wait a couple weeks. You're fine. You'll be okay, right? But the American consumer has decided that these are the two things that they want the most. Did you see the video of the shooting itself? It's a pretty insane spread. I'm not sure how they even got the camera angle on this one. Destiny, are you going to answer my question? Why are you ignoring the clear behavior? Oh, I already answered your question. The companies are supposed to maximize for profit. They're always supposed to maximize for profit. The government regulation is supposed to make sure that profit-seeking behavior is not like damaging people or the economy or whatever. But our healthcare isn't fast. Have you tried getting an appointment with a new doctor? It can take months. That's never ever been my experience, so I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry, I don't. Not only that, I'm sorry, I just don't believe you. As somebody who had a grandma who was a hypochondriac, who was able to get fucking Vicodin and Oxy from every fucking doctor that she went to, and as somebody who had my kid's mom had, you know, stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma, as somebody like I don't have that experience. I don't know where you live, and I don't know what your situation is. But the idea that in the United States of America that it's taking you months and months to get an appointment, I've just never had that experience before. Maybe. No, actually, no, I'm not gonna say maybe. I don't believe you. I think you're just lying. I'm sorry. I don't believe you. Sorry. Maybe if you're looking for like a super type of specialist and you don't have like a life-threatening condition, then maybe it could. But oh, and also over the COVID time period, there might have been a backup as well because our whole medical system was like completely fucked. It feels like Destiny is conflating quality with cost and availability. How? So I'm okay. You see that I've literally written these two things out separately here. So what level of mental disability are you living with that you think I'm conflating the two things that I've written out in two separate categories? Is it like from birth, or were you attacked or hit in the head as an older person, or... Everything good, bro? You just seem to hate everyone in chat lately. There's just certain topics that even my audience is susceptible to like retarded think on, like cost of housing is one and healthcare is another one, where for young people it's literally impossible to, because the amount of like misinformation and retarded shit that you consumed is overwhelming. So there's no fact, there's no stat, there's no nothing that will ever overcome. But you know what? It's all good. We have our disagreements. It's fine. Okay? One day you'll get older and you'll join me in the sun of hating people that can't afford healthcare. I'm just kidding. Why do you think that this best healthcare does not reflect in life expectancy? I think in the United States, I think 2 or 3 things that hurt life expectancy a ton are one is violent crime. I think we have more homicides per capita than I think most of the other countries, I think in the OECD. 2 is our general health is really bad. So things like obesity and everything, which feed into things like diabetes and heart disease, which is the number 1 killer of people. And then 3, I think, might be deaths of despair and suicidality. I think is higher here. But I think once you hit 55 years old, I think it flips, and our life expectancies, I believe, are the highest in the world. Like, assuming you've made it to that age, you haven't been murdered or killed yourself. What do you think are some actual problems with healthcare or health insurance then? I mean, I think having like I think expanding Medicaid or Medicare to cover what is it? It's like 280 million people. How many people, the percentage of people in the United States with health coverage, what do you think that number is? Okay, like I see people saying like 50%, 60%. The answer is like it's like 90%. In 2023, most people, 92% or 305.2 million, had health insurance either for some or all of the year. In 2023, private health insurance coverage continued to be more prevalent than public coverage at 65.4% and 36.3% respectively. Most people, I believe, are covered through their employer. Employment-based health insurance covers basically 54% of the population.
But not official weight.
What? Okay, good one. Stupid. What other ways do people acquire their insurance? Is the other half all people who bought out of pocket? Most of this is probably like Medicare and Medicaid, I would imagine. I doubt many people just buy out of pocket, would be my guess, but... Destiny doesn't want to make a judgment on behavior because that would force him to concede that he doesn't care about insurance companies' egregious behavior. What egregious behavior? You know what the real hard truth is that you don't want to admit, which is fine because I don't give a fuck. You know what the real hard truth is? The real hard truth is that probably the majority of denials, I'm pulling this out of my guess, I have to guess, the majority of denials on healthcare coverage are probably from people making requests that were never even covered by their healthcare plan, that they didn't bother to check or they didn't look at. And that's where the majority of denials come from. But I think you guys think that like 99% of denials are just done because like the CEO is like, you know, doing crack cocaine or getting high and he's like looking at it, he's like, oh, fuck these people, let them die, greedy, die. Like it's probably your... Like, yeah, like this retarded shit in chat. Denials of children's cancer medication. Like, the majority of denials are probably just because people are trying to call their insurance out on shit that they probably weren't originally insured for. That'd be my guess. But, you know, hey, listen, if you got numbers, feel free to link them. Isn't that bad though? Like if I need some hyper expensive medication and I can't afford decent health insurance, isn't that kind of fucked? I mean, yeah, that would be bad. Although, I mean, I think, yeah, I don't know what, yeah, if you can't afford medication or something, that would be bad. That should never happen in the United States, ideally, right? You don't want people that need something. I don't know how common that scenario is though. You're not really presenting opposing data, just kind of calling chat retarded and memeing. Well, I mean, the onus is on you to make the... I mean, what do you want me to... Like, Cancer survival rates between US and other countries. Okay, so if I'm looking at the cancer survival rates between... Jesus fucking Christ. I'm assuming the green number is good. The higher one is good. That's my guess. So are you telling me that all these people in the USA are either rich or paid out of pocket? Like, how are they surviving? How are we surviving breast cancer better than Canada? Are these people all paying out of pocket? Explain this to me. Or if I look at, like, oh, okay, apparently for prostate cancer survival rates, we have the highest, I guess, in the world. I didn't even know they were that good. Okay, honestly, I thought these would be lower, but okay, Jesus. So what's happening here? Are all of these just rich people in the US paying out of pocket? Like, how are we, like, what healthcare outcome do you want to look up? Like, the narrative, this is the cognitive dissonance needs to be in your head right now. If you think that nobody in the US can afford this, all of it is out of reach for the average person, everybody's dying because they can afford it, then how do you explain our survival rates? We should be like third world tier in terms of like people dying from preventable diseases all the time. You think that's happening. You think in the US, oh God, you get cancer, you can't afford the medication, it's all over, you're gonna die. But that's not in any data anywhere. You can't find that anywhere. So when you make that claim, I don't even know what I'm supposed to look for. What because you have nothing. So I don't know how I'm supposed to fight against that claim. You have nothing. You're not presenting me a single shred of evidence on any of this. If you want to shoot me like some kind of evidence of like, oh well, look, this is how everybody is, then go for it. Then we can look at it. Again, I'm not here to say the U.S. healthcare system is perfect. It's absolutely not. There are definitely places that we can improve, but it's nowhere near as bad as you think it is. It's delusional to think it's as bad as you think it is. And if you start from that point of believing that the U.S. healthcare system is like fucked, then I mean, what do you? Then fuck. You're not gonna fix or change the things that need to be fixed or changed. You're just gonna be upset and mad at nothing. So. The United States is the worst performing health system among all high income countries. When you look at things that say this, okay, you have to be mindful of what they're saying, okay? Because, well, hold on. Maybe I'll be wrong, okay? We'll keep reading. But typically, when people say this, that the U.S. system is the worst, usually what they're doing is they're doing a comprehensive assessment of all of the things, and then they're looking at a thing like access to certain things, and because of that metric, they're dramatically decreasing the actual way that they're evaluating the U.S. healthcare system. But maybe they're not in this one. Maybe there are some outcomes that I'm not aware of. So we'll check, okay? The United States is the worst performing health system among all high-income countries. Even the best-performing U.S. states lag international comparators like France, Germany, the UK, and Australia. To move the U.S. from laggard to leader will require significant but doable changes in its healthcare system, including closing remaining gaps in insurance coverage, limiting debilitating out-of-pocket expenditures, and reviving its failing primary care capabilities. Okay, so it sounds like it's evaluating based on like cost and stuff. These are the conclusions of a comprehensive study from the Commonwealth Fund that compared the U.S. healthcare system to 9 other nations: Australia, Canada, France, Germany, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Sweden, Switzerland, and the UK. Based on 70 performance measures across 5 domains: access to care, health outcomes, administrative efficiency, care process, and equity, the United States came in last overall and next to last in 4 of these 5 categories. Okay. So this is a broader, it's a broader study. Again, not to say that there aren't things that you could improve in U.S. healthcare, but if you start from the position that we have a third world healthcare system, you're never going to fix anything. You're just like, that's it. Why would you not consider access, though? I think you can consider access. Listen, this is what it is. I already told you. You have speed, you have quality, you have cost. And Americans have decided that these are the two things that they care the most about, and fuck this thing. And some people think that you can have all three, and you can't. That's it. That's the reality. If you want to bring costs down, you can do that, but everybody doesn't get the most cutting edge fucking drug anymore, the most cutting edge fucking surgery anymore, the scheduling however many appointments, as many as you want. Like, that's the reality of it. Like, that's what you have to do. Which I don't even think is a bad idea, by the way. That's probably fine. I think that's A-okay. This is why I think like public option plus option to have private insurance, I think is probably the best system. This is sort of what you'd expect given the perception of the $10 million bonuses and super yachts. What was the CEO? What was this guy worth? Brian Thompson. How much money was this guy getting? Let's say that I assume this number is true. I don't even know if there's any public record of how much. Let's say this guy's net worth is $43 million, okay? Let's say it's $50 million. Isn't United Health coverage, don't they have like the most patients of any? How many covered by United Health Care? Is that the name of the company? Oh, United Health, not United Healthcare. Why don't you look up medical debt, medical-driven bankruptcy, and cost per capita of healthcare? Looking up cancer recovery rates and asking how they pay it is dumb. It is debt. The medical bankruptcy number is fake. Medical debt probably is an issue in the United States because I think we pay so fucking much for healthcare, and cost per capita is the highest, I'm pretty sure it is, anywhere in the world. I think we are like 2x the next country. It's insane. Okay, United Healthcare employer and individual serves more than 29 million Americans. If you killed the CEO and stole his entire bank account, you emptied his whole bank account, and you gave all of his money away to all the customers, it would be $2 per customer. What? He was the CEO of UH Care, which is a subsidiary. Like, this is just not the problem. I'm sorry. Like, is UH Care less? How many people are in UH Care? Bro, so it's better that he has all of it? Oh. Why do you... I don't understand where you guys come from that watch me. We love billionaires here. Okay, all of us aspire to be part of the billionaire class one day. So we love them. We love billionaires. How is the stat on medical bankruptcy fake? Source. People cite the stat of 64% of people file bankruptcy because of medical reasons. But the way that this number is arrived at is, I believe somebody took a look at all of the bankruptcies in the United States, and if you had a single medical bill that was over $600, I think, in the past year, then they counted your bankruptcy as a medical bankruptcy. The way that this initial number was arrived at was stupid. If somebody could find the original study, we can go and read it. But it was the way that it was just done is really stupid. Isn't this just the proletariat being mad at wealth inequality in general? Rich equals evil. Yeah, a little bit. It's just the issue is just if you're mad at the... I don't care if people get mad. You get mad, that's fine. The United States has some insane shit that exists here. We shouldn't house Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Bill Gates and have homeless encampments all over every fucking city on the West Coast. That's insane. There are things that we should be upset about, and then we should take this anger and direct it in a way to fix these problems. The problem is people get mad at the most retarded shit. You get mad at people that are easy to get mad at, and it doesn't fucking do anything. And then everybody laughs at you and makes fun of you because you're no closer to solving your fucking problem. How far have you gotten over the past 20, 30 years being mad at CEOs? It doesn't fucking do anything. There's no solution on the table. You're not gonna fix anything. You could take every single dollar from every single CEO in this country and throw it at the US and you'd be good for like 1 month. It's not gonna help anything. It's not gonna do anything. Just stupid. The same issue with the deep state. When conservatives get mad at the deep state, you're not gonna fix anything because you're just getting mad at some one person you wanna blame for all your problems. Destiny defending $10 million salary of an administrator, and yesterday implied doctors and nurses got paid too much. When did I... Why do you just lie? How triggered are you? How triggered are you that you just lie about what I say? What I said was doctors and nurses in the US, I think, are more compensated than any other doctor-nurse class, I believe, in the rest of the world. Somebody can check that if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure doctors and nurses in the US get paid more. I didn't say they should get paid less. I never said that. I'm just saying they do get paid more. I think we might also pay more for educating those people. I think in the US as well. I think medical school and training and internship, I think the cost and the time I think is higher in the US as well. But average nurse salary USA. The median annual salary for a registered nurse in the United States in 2023 was $86,000. Is NP the highest level? I should know this, and I don't. A nurse practitioner is the highest one, and theirs is 126K. I think NP requires a master's, I think. I think they can do small prescriptions as well. Average nurse salary, NHS. It's 95K. Damn, wait, this is way higher than I feel like I read last time. That's wrong? Yeah, wait, there's no way that's right. Because if that was the case... Here are some other salary informations for NHS nurses. Band 5, £32,000. Band 7, Band 8A, Band 8B. I wonder what the AI is reading. The average additional pay is $0 per year. God, I love AI. What a great thing. Total salary range for NHS registered nurse, 34 salaries submitted. Oh, this is for people who submitted to this website? Okay, whatever. NHS pay acknowledges nursing experience, and pay increases are linked to the number of years you've worked in the NHS. The average nursing salary. Now, I don't know what the NHS equivalent is to like nurse practitioner or registered nurse or whatever. The salary is between £33,000 and £35,000 a year. Somebody said a nurse out of UNI will be a band 5. They will move to a band 7 as a district nurse and then potentially 8A after experience in service. Gotcha. In the UK, it's called an A&P, an advanced nurse practitioner. How is salary even a meaningful metric for comparison? Don't you need to look at hours worked? American doctors work significantly more hours than other countries. I don't know if that's true. I know that we work quite a bit, but I'm not entirely sure if it's true that, like, if you're a doctor in France, you work like 9 to 5 and then you just go home and you're good. And then in America, it's like so. What if states opted into a universal healthcare system? Is that even possible? Yeah, states have the freedom to design their own healthcare systems, although it's more difficult to do plans like that, I think, at the state level than the federal level. But I've heard tons of stories of nurses sleeping over at the hospital for what it's worth. The way, it's always hard to tell. It's always hard to tell like what is a problem versus what's not based on like who's complaining. So like, for instance, a lot of people in the United States complain about how bad tip culture is and minimum wage for servers, but servers never complain about that. It's always people that don't work those jobs. Servers love tips because they make way more than minimum wage. So if you were to go to a server and say, hey, I know that your minimum wage is only $2.13 an hour, we're going to go ahead and get rid of tips and we're going to bump you up to $9 an hour, every server would tell you to kick rocks and fuck off because they like their tipped income because they make way more than a fucking McDonald's loser working at a restaurant that gets tips. When it comes to nurses and their schedule, the fact that Destiny never wants to talk about how much he makes from various things is sus. I'm more open about my income than literally any other fucking loser that you talk to on the internet. What are you talking about? I'm getting trolled in chat. It's all good. I know you're trolling me. It's all good. It's all good. Troll me. Troll me more. You know what? I like it today. I like it. Just troll the fuck out of me. I enjoy it, okay? Thank you. When I talk to nurses and I talk to their schedules, most nurses, to me, the two answers that I've heard most commonly from nurses is that one, they really like the 3 on, 4 off or the 4 on, 3 off because it gives them a lot of time in the week to just do whatever. And then the second thing that I've heard is that the most common time for like patient fuck ups is during handoffs. So having nurses working shorter shifts and constantly trading off patients leads to more like medical error. I don't know how true either of those things are on the average, but those are the two things that I've heard usually for nurses. That one will tell, like I have a new friend who does that, LP, I think she is, no, NP. And yeah, she would tell me that like you could do vacations as a nurse without even needing vacation time because you would schedule like 3 on, 4 off, and then on your next week you'd do 4 off, 3 on, and you would have like an 8-day vacation basically without even scheduling a vacation because you'd be 3 on, 8 off, 3 on, and it would just be, yeah. Can you explain medical debt? Are people who go into the emergency room for major surgery without insurance just fucked? So hospital ambulance rides in the US are fairly expensive. I think the average might be $1,000. And in the United States, they don't just let you die. If you need life-saving surgery, you will always get it, but then they'll bill you afterwards. And to bill people for stuff that you do in a hospital, I'm pretty sure there's like a wacky roulette wheel of crazy expenses. You just fucking throw a dart or you spin a ball and you just ship out some crazy fucking bill. But I mean, like I'm going to give this piece of advice, but it doesn't matter to any of you guys because all of you guys are rich because I can tell by the way that you type. And I like that. I enjoy that about you guys. We had a lot of rich people in chat, a lot of upper middle class, lower upper class people in chat that are pretending to be poor. But in case there are like 4 or 5 poor people that are actually listening, okay, real ones, all right, not upper middle class people LARPing as poor. Anytime you have a debt that you think you cannot pay, all right, always, 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 always go to the person that you owe the money to and ask to work something out before you take a loan, before you put it on credit, or before you just ignore it, okay? Most people want to get their money back and they want to work with you, all right? Most companies do not want to sell your debt to a collector because if I'm a hospital and I bill you for $10K and you can't pay it, and I sell that $10,000 of medical debt to a debt collector, they're probably buying it for, what, like $1,000? They're buying it for an absurdly cheap discount. Can we find this? On average, I wonder if this number is available. How much money is, or what? On average cost of medical debt. What would I even look? How much does hospital get for selling medical debt? Debt buyers may pay as little as 4 cents to 14 cents. So yeah, we'll say 8% or 9% basically on average. So if you call the hospital, you owe them $10,000, like, bro, I can't pay. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, what are we going to do? And they might work something out with you for literally $3K, maybe, right? And they're still making more money on that arrangement than if they would have sold it to a debt collector. And it's better for your credit too. This is true if you owe money on utilities, if you owe money on a phone bill, if you owe money on anything. If you're ever behind in your bills, okay, always before you go to before you do any kind of like loans, before you put it on a credit card, before you just don't say anything and have your shit turned off, always contact the people you owe the money to and try to work something out. Usually they'll want to work with you, okay? That's all I'm saying. This is common knowledge, no? No, I don't think it is. The real fuck shit in the US is how PTO and sick days are done, at least in places like Texas, where the default is at-will employment with PTO that only covers national holidays and sick days that cover 1 day a month. It's really weird as a Eurocuck who gets vacation weeks and sick days is when you're sick, not when you have the time for it. Oh yeah, in America, we just don't believe in vacations. Some places, they're nice, or actually, I guess I've never worked for like a really nice company before. Actually, the nice I worked at was a casino. And the fact that after a year, I think, your first year, you get up like a week of paid vacation, that was like fucking... I was like, a week of paid vacation? Holy fuck, this is insane. However, I think in Europe, I think basically, and I'm speaking broadly, I think in most European countries, for basically every job you work, you're guaranteed like 4 weeks of paid vacation from the fucking government. Is the itemized receipt meme a real thing? I don't know. I don't trust any shit like that. I'm not sure. But I also don't know because every single bill I've ever gotten from a hospital has always been itemized. I've never gotten just like a bill with like one number on it. So I don't know what... I don't know. You don't have insurance, all right? Not right now. Maybe I'll get some. Because it's the open enrollment time soon, right? I wonder if Destiny got that 10K to 1K example from here. Nope. But what is this? Hold on. Okay. It's just a general thing about debt collecting or whatever. Prove to everyone that you are as transparent as you claim and file your taxes on stream next year. True. Are high CEO compensations ever rhetorically persuasive to you? They aren't really to me. Yeah, I think they are, but that's a wasted time conversation. It's because the reality is you go, okay, well, what do you think CEO compensation should be? And everybody's answer is lower. Like, okay, what should it be based on? How mad I am? Okay. The Democrats are fighting hard to get rid of the popular vote in future elections. They want all future presidential elections to be based exclusively on the Electoral College. Oh no, don't tell them. Destiny, I pay out of pocket for prescriptions, and I've noticed that the pharmacy I go to are able to apply insane discounts, and I've never understood how or why they're able to do that. Any ideas? Nope, don't ask me. I complain about that all the time. When I go to buy my Vyvanse, and they're like, "Oh, check out this phone and look for coupons," and it's like, "What's the point of this? What are we doing right now?" I don't know. One sec. Fuck me. Okay, I have to do a call. Hold on. Don't die. Oh, okay. It's a lot shorter than I thought it'd be. Sorry. I got all my healthcare CEO talking points today. Sometimes they call me to make sure I'm giving the right ones. Why is health insurance a thing to profit? Why should anyone profit from people's health needs? It should be a right like most other countries. It's not a, you don't moralize the good or service. You're not supposed to moralize the thing. You have to figure out what the best way to solve for it is. Like food and clothing is a necessity. Everybody needs it, but we also make profit off of food and clothing, right? So just because we need a thing doesn't mean it's immoral to make profit off of it. The idea is just what's the best way to solve for a given thing, like a market solution versus like a planned or like a government solution. What is the purpose of insurance? What value does it add to? Generally, the purpose of insurance is that it takes irregular, high volatility events, and then it smooths that out over a lifetime, or over the duration of the insurance, and then you pay a premium for it, so a little bit more. Ugh, hold on. The government provides clothes if you don't have any wrong. Yeah, and the government also provides insurance and shit if you don't have any either, right? You have Medicare, Medicaid, Medicare for old people, Medicaid for poor people. What is this? What would be wrong with a system without insurance in which the government sets price caps for procedures, surgeries, treatments, etc.? That might be. If you set a price cap for something, then some services simply won't be offered anymore because there's no incentive for anybody to provide them, basically. Why do people get so horny when someone with millions or billions of dollars dies? That happened with the submarine thing. Because most people, especially populists, have a mistaken assumption that the economy is a zero-sum game. So if there are millionaires or billionaires, the only way those people can exist is if they're fucking over somebody else. There's a fixed amount of money to be made in society, and when rich people have a lot of money, poor people are getting robbed by them, basically. So if a millionaire or billionaire dies, it's somehow equalizing out society or some shit. It's just a mistaken understanding of how economics works. Doesn't that just force competition within the price limits, assuming they can still make a profit from within that limit? Why would you assume that they could make a profit if you start setting price caps? How is that a mistaken understanding? Because there is not a fixed amount of money to be made or earned in a society. Like, everybody can make more money. It's not a fixed pie. It can grow for all of society. Why do you conflate price negotiations with hard price caps? The former considers the problems of the latter. I don't know what you mean. A price negotiation is also, if the government is the one negotiating and they're your largest buyer, I mean, you're setting basically some kind of like price cap. I know you're a capitalist, but I thought you were for government intervention / providing in some sectors. Can you explain where you think the private sector does worse than the government? There are some things that, for a variety of reasons, free markets can't solve well. Healthcare presents some challenges that that the free market doesn't solve for well. So one thing would be if you're experiencing a health emergency, you don't have the opportunity to, say, compare prices or shop around, right? Which is a key component of a free market. A key component of a free market, if we took a microecon course, we'd know the actual words for these. But information available to the consumer is important. You need to be able to look at and compare equivalent products across different prices. If you're experiencing a healthcare emergency, you typically don't have time to shop around and say like, okay, well, who can give me the best treatment right now for my heart attack or for my ischemic stroke or whatever. So that's one issue. Another issue is that we don't really treat insurance. Oh, this is an insurance problem. We don't treat insurance like insurance. We treat it as like a subscription to medication, which is a different issue. There's a lot of moralizing around healthcare, which hurts people's ability to view it like any other commodity, which, I mean, it is. Like if you talk about like overconsumption of healthcare, people lose their minds because people assume it's impossible to overconsume healthcare, or that everybody's entitled to every piece of healthcare that they ever want or ask ever. So like if I want infinite MRI scans, or if I want to buy the best cutting edge medication, or if I wanted the best cutting edge cert, like people assume that you need or have to have like all of these things. But yeah, so it's hard to talk about it in those terms as well. Yeah. Bro, it's not like any other commodity. That's insane. You're just, I'm sorry, but you're just fucking retarded, my dude. There are things that are more important than healthcare that are decided by the free market. For instance, food and clothing are more important than healthcare. You understand that, right? It's more important to have food and clothes than it is to be able to go to a hospital. Hospitals are really important, but those two things are more important, and the free market solves for those pretty well. There's a whole bunch of different people that create and manufacture food. There's a whole bunch of different stores that sell food. There's a whole bunch of places you can go to buy food and clothes. Okay, so like that's a thing. This is a class of goods that is highly inelastic, but the free market solves for them pretty well. So we let the free market solve for those. Is there not a unique issue with the incentive structure? No, the incentive structure for every single thing should be to is to make money. That's how a capitalist economy works. The incentive structure is to make money. Insurance company halts plan to put time limits on coverage for anesthesia during surgery. All right. Fuck it. You know what? Let's trigger everybody. Why not? Food isn't controlled by patents. Oh, it's the patents that make healthcare. Oh, okay. A big insurer backed off its plan to pay less for anesthesia. That's bad. What the fight between Anthem and anesthesiologists was really about. In November, the American Society of Anesthesiologists, the ASA, issued a dire warning. One of America's largest insurance companies, Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield, had just unilaterally declared that it will no longer pay for anesthesia care if the surgery or procedure goes beyond an arbitrary time limit, regardless of how long the surgical procedure takes. The decision applied to Anthem's plans in Connecticut, New York, and Missouri. This announcement gained national attention Wednesday after the fatal shooting of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson sparked widespread discussion of controversial insurance industry practices on social media. A populist furor against Anthem ensued. People imagined patients waking up from surgery to find out that they owed thousands of dollars because their procedure went 15 minutes long. Rage at the insurer spread from ex-users to government officials, with Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy and New York Governor Kathy Hochul both condemning the insurer's decision, with the former tweeting, "This is appalling, saddling patients with thousands of dollars of debt, thousands of dollars in surprise additional medical debt, and for what, just to boost corporate profits?" By Thursday, Anthem had revoked their policy. Yet this whole tumult was badly misguided. Americans have many justified grievances with insurance companies, which often refuse to cover necessary care, but this particular fight was not actually about putting the interests of patients against those of rapacious corporations. Anthem's policy would not have increased costs for their enrollees. Rather, it would have reduced payments for some of the most overpaid physicians in America. And when millionaire doctors beat back cost controls, as they have, patients pay the price through higher premiums. Anthem's policy would have cost anesthesiologists, not their enrollees. Anesthesia services are billed partially on the basis of how long a procedure takes. This creates an incentive for anesthesiologists to err on the side of exaggerating how long their services were required during an operation. And there is evidence that some anesthesiologists may engage in overbilling by overstating the length of a procedure or the degree of risk a patient faces in undergoing anesthesia. Starting in February, Anthem had planned to discourage overbilling by adopting a set of maximum time limits for procedures inspired by data from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. If an operation went long for medically necessary reasons, anesthesiologists could appeal for higher payment, but the process of reimbursement would be more arduous. Critically, contrary to Senator Murphy's claims, this policy would not have saddled patients with surprise bills if their operations went over time. The burden of this cost control would have fallen on participating anesthesiologists, not patients, according to Christopher Garman, Associate Professor of Health Administration at the University of Missouri, Kansas City's Henry W. Block School of Management. Say there is a contract between an insurance company like Anthem and an anesthesiologist, Garman told Vox. What is always in the contract is a clause that says you, the provider, agree to accept the reimbursement rules in this contract as payment in full. That means that the provider cannot then turn around and ask the patient for more money or for money. Providers, not insurance companies, are the primary drivers of high healthcare costs. Private insurance companies have earned the public's distrust. They routinely put profitability above their policyholders' well-being. And a system of private health insurance provisions also has higher administrative costs than a single-payer system in which the government is the sole insurer. But the avarice and inefficiencies of private insurers are not the sole or even the primary reason why vital medical services are often unaffordable and inaccessible in the United States. The bigger issue is that America's healthcare providers, hospitals, physicians, and drug companies charge much higher rates than their peers in other wealthy nations. In 2021, the U.S. spent nearly twice as much per capita on healthcare than other developed countries. According to the Kaiser Family Foundation, this gap is mostly explained by higher payments to hospitals and physicians. Americans spend $7,500 per person on inpatient and outpatient care, while other rich nations spend an average of $2,969 per person. This is not because Americans are receiving more medical care than their peers abroad. On the contrary, we make fewer doctors' visits per capita and have shorter average hospital stays. We just pay much higher prices. In 2023, the average physician's salary in the United States was $352,000. In Germany, that figure was $160,000. In the UK, it was $122,000. In France, it was $93,000. This discrepancy is partly explained by the fact that those European nations have more socialized healthcare systems in which the government imposes more cost controls on medical providers. In the past, progressives have emphasized that a Medicare for all system would reduce overall healthcare costs by forcing providers to accept lower payments. With its new policy, Anthem was attempting to do precisely this, force anesthesiologists to accept lower rates of reimbursement. And the case for forcing down payment rates for anesthesiologists is especially strong. According to Medscape's 2024 anesthesiologist salary report, the average salary for an American anesthesiologist in 2023 was $472,000. This represents a $70,000 increase over the field's average salary in 2022. This makes anesthesiologists among the top 5 highest earning specialists in the United States. If we want America's healthcare system to treat more patients while charging us all less money for coverage, then there is no alternative to forcing myriad specialists to accept lower payment rates. Ideally, we would do this through a comprehensive system of public cost controls and insurance provision. Failing that, we need private insurers to drive a harder bargain with the most expensive doctors and hospitals. When we demonize insurers for doing precisely that, we aren't standing up against our healthcare sector's profiteers, we're sticking up for them. Then this is Vox, which is your most left-leaning fucking... But, okay. Actually, you know what? I'm actually curious. Why shouldn't the anesthesiologist charge as much as possible? They should charge as much as possible. That's fine. An insurance company should try to negotiate it down. That's fine. That's their goal. Everybody has like a different incentive structure, right? An insurer's incentive is to charge the highest premiums possible while paying the least amount to providers. A consumer's goal is to pay the least amount in premiums possible by getting the most amount of coverage. A provider's goal is to charge the most amount possible by providing the least amount of service. Like these are everybody's, this is like the tension between labor and capital, or labor and whatever the fuck, customer and provider, and yeah. I'm curious. Okay. Did you, an anesthesiologist is somebody who only does, or who specializes in general anesthesia, right? Like if somebody just gives you a local anesthesia, you don't need an anesthesiologist for that, right? Yeah, okay. Did you undergo general anesthesia for, wait, fuck. Wisdom teeth removal? I have never had my wisdom teeth removed. I am an American. I underwent general anesthesia, sleep. I am an American. I only had local anesthesia. Shots, was awake. And then I am European. I underwent general anesthesia, or I am European and I only had local anesthesia. I'm just curious. What if you're Asian? Oh, and then other, I guess, if you're, we only have Europeans and Americans here. You know what? You could be other. I am other. Holy fucking shit. Wait, let me hold on before I get excited. Okay. Wait. Yes. Okay. How lucky are we? My God. Okay. This is exactly U.S. healthcare distilled in a single bullshit poll in my chat. Okay. I had my wisdom teeth taken out 10 years ago. And when I went to the dentist, they said, you can either do general anesthesia or you can be awake for it. And I said, oh, well, what's the difference? And they said $1,000. I'm like, oh, well, why would I pay $1,000 for general anesthesia? I'm like, I don't know. A lot of people like to be asleep for it. It's like, okay, well, you can do it while I'm awake. Does it matter? It's like, no. Oh, okay. So I was awake when I did it because it was cheaper, because I was price shopping, right? Americans in general prefer to overconsume or have a propensity to get the latest cutting edge stuff. You do not need general anesthesia for wisdom teeth removal, but you want it. You want it. You want to be asleep because it's easier and it's nicer. Europeans, looks like, who got their wisdom teeth removed, generally didn't have 3-to-1, didn't have general anesthesia. They had local anesthesia. You just get a shot for it. It's fine. And then they take them out. right? But notice here in America, it's almost 2-1 for the people that went to sleep for wisdom teeth removal. For wisdom teeth removal. What I'm telling you is that in the United States, if you want the same type of healthcare that they have in Europe, these types of things will change, okay? It will take us a little bit longer to get the most cutting edge drugs. It will take you a little bit longer to wait for a doctor. You won't get the most cutting edge surgeries, procedures, treatments, or whatever all the time, right? This is exactly, oh, how nice. That's good. Whew, I would have to make some crazy bullshit up if this poll was totally backwards, so. But isn't it just a bad medical decision to undergo general anesthesia when not needed? This has more risks. The risks are probably minimal. But also Americans don't care. Apparently they don't, because all these motherfuckers in my chat literally went to sleep for their wisdom teeth to be removed. Destiny, note that just sedation does not require an anesthesiologist. Okay. Maybe not. I don't know. They told me it was going to be more, but. In general, is anesthesia much more expensive? I believe it is more expensive in general, yes. European was 5-1. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I was comparing it to the other. My bad. Europe was even more dramatic. Oh, shit, you're right. Well, Europe was even more dramatic. It was 5-1. Or 6-1. 5-1, yeah. Damn, okay. Did you have impacted wisdom teeth? I think 1 or 2 of them were. Guess my mom didn't die because insurance wouldn't cover tests. My bad. Didn't realize the teeth thing. You know what? If you want, email me all your mom's medical information. BTR, whatever, go for it. I love it when people use dead family members to try to prove some bullshit point about the economy, and then it ends up that it's not even remotely fucking true. So if that's what you want to do, go for it, my dude. Email me all the info. Okay. Reddit answers. What the fuck is this? Reddit answers lets you find human perspective, recommendations, and information from real conversations. Oh, true. You're selecting for Europeans that watch American streamers, though. Those Europeans are notorious for not using general anesthesia. How funny would it be if that was an actual confounding variable? Like if I were to poll people, like how many of you watch me at the dentist, and Europeans were like 98%. And it turns out the reason why they didn't do general anesthesia is because it was like a debate day. And they were like, I don't want to be asleep for this doc. Just numb me up and keep my eyes open. Turn the stream on. I was told getting my wisdom teeth out would be $5K with my insurance because of anesthesia. The dentist refused to do it without it, which caused me to have to switch my insurance to go somewhere else with just local anesthesia, which caused permanent damage to the teeth besides my wisdom teeth and resulted in thousands of dollars of future treatment. Destiny, read my message. Well, I don't know what you want me to say. None of that makes sense to me. So I don't know why... I don't know your particular use case. I don't know why local anesthesia would cause permanent damage to your teeth and general anesthesia wouldn't. I don't have the medical, dental background. No, none of that makes sense to me whatsoever. So I have no idea. Local anesthesia, when done badly, can damage nerves. Okay, and general anesthesia, when done badly, can kill you. What are the percentage rates of complications? Destiny, did you see BLM threatening riots over the not guilty verdict? Oh, rip. Sorry if you answered this already, but what was your take on the Daniel Perry situation, the guy who choked the homeless guy out? I would have to watch the full trial to have like a fully informed opinion, but based on the video that I watched, it seems to me like I could have understood like a manslaughter too. I think based on the statute, I think a second-degree manslaughter charge probably would have been fair for him to be convicted on. But yeah, I don't know. America is the only country that splits dental coverage from every single other aspect of healthcare. Dental insurance and dentists are shady as fuck. Wait, are you an American or European? Because I thought that was true before, but then I feel like we read about it, and actually most countries for some reason have like dental and vision as separate. Like I think it's like that up in Canada. Yeah, okay. Not true. Yeah. I don't know why. No, we watched something like this. Was it because like, I don't know if I'm making shit up. Was it because like barbers used to do dentistry as well or something? Or it would be like a traveling barber would be a dentist too. So it like developed as a separate thing. Or was it like some weird shit like that? Am I making this up? Separate in the Netherlands? Yeah, it was something weird like that. God, I rewatched that Alien Romulus movie. That movie has so much promise. It starts out so well, and it looks so good, and the music is good. But my God, that movie goes off the rails like halfway in. Also, I noticed this again the second time around. This movie is like very pornographic. You ever notice that? Lots of like slimy, vaginal, penile, like when they pull that face hugger out of that woman's mouth, that's like some fucking 3D, like alien impregnation shit. Jesus. What do you think of them bringing back the dead guy? Oh my God, I saw it so hard. That's the guy from Alien 1. That's the guy from Alien 1. I had a terrible wisdom tooth extraction experience. I got general anesthesia, an impacted tooth removed, and then get this. I was fine and my insurance covered it. Sounds good, right? But now I can't complain on the internet about how bad our healthcare system is. Okay. Are you going to see Gladiator 2? I don't know. I haven't watched much movies. Or many movies. Lately. Spider under your shotgun? Are you trolling me? Thoughts on Dune Prophecy? Was that the second Dune movie? It was way better than the first one. I think the last fight was pretty good too. You know what? I think I gave Dune 2. It was a good out of 10. It was a good movie. Oh, TV series? Oh, I haven't watched that shit. No. Wait. Okay, hold on. So it's my colors were fucked in my camera. Are they? I think they're fine. Fuck you. Okay. One of the mundane annoyances with insurance when it comes to hospitals is the classification system. Say you have a patient who might need just an overnight stay, but then has complications. We fix the complications within another day because they were listed as observation for 2 days. They then get upgraded to the inpatient classification. So day 3, we want to discharge a patient to a SNF. I don't know what that means. Sunday night football. But now insurance won't cover it because they weren't inpatient for enough days. I mean, I'm sure you can appeal it. I'm not saying it's not annoying. I'm sure it is fucking annoying. Oh, how mad am I going to watch this? Isn't it true that in the US, people think before calling the ambulance because it's like $1,000 for a 10-minute ride? Okay, I don't care. Hate me. I want to be hated today. I want to be hated today. I hope you hate me. Okay? It's good to consider when you need to call an ambulance. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Now, should you discourage somebody from calling an ambulance if they legitimately have like a life-threatening condition or whatever, or they need an ambulance? No, of course not. But if somebody just has like a cough or some wheezy breath or whatever, right? Do you need to call an ambulance every single time? No, probably not. It's not bad to have some cost associated with a thing so that people at least think a little bit about consuming the thing. You don't want, otherwise people will overconsume. People do overconsume when something is free. I don't know why they use this term, but I think it's called moral hazard, right? It's good to have, I think it's good to have like some sort of barrier to think, you know, like, oh, do I need an ambulance here? Destiny, would you rather too many people get ambulances or too few? I don't know what the correct answer to that is. You think that the answer is obvious, but the fact that you would ask that question, like, I'm so happy that you asked that question. I'm happy that you asked that question because a whole bunch of other people in chat also think that the answer is obvious. But here's the problem. When you say, do you think it would be bad if too few people got ambulances or too many? You're assuming that there are all of these ambulances on standby that are just waiting to go, but won't because like people won't pay money for it or whatever. There are only so many resources in a system. When you say too many, it won't be too many people getting ambulances. It'll be longer wait times for everybody, or some people just not getting an ambulance who needs one. Like that's the reality of the situation. But in your mind, you're like, oh, well, there are tons of ambulances just like waiting. And, you know, it's just a matter of like, well, people like, it's just not how it works. But yeah. Destiny, you aren't making sense. This is just autistic ranting. This is literally the most common sense take in the universe. And no sane or educated person or anybody that works in any of this industry will disagree with me. The only people that will agree with you are white rich kids on Twitter. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if that bothers you, but Destiny, you assume that the supply is inelastic. Why? The supply of ambulances, it is fixed. Yes, what do you mean? There are only so many ambulances. You don't have an infinite amount of healthcare resources. What are you talking about? Then how can other countries have adequate supply of ambulances that don't cost over 1K? I don't know how. They probably pay for it with their public providers or whatever. I don't know. How much average ambulance cost USA? In 2020, the average cost was $940 for transport basic services and $1,300 for ride with advanced life support. How much ambulance cost average Canada? Do they pay anything out of pocket for it? With a valid health card, $100. But this can vary significantly depending on the province, whether the transport is considered medically necessary. Ah, see, like this is smart, right? Okay, so now Canada can do it because you guys like Canada, so they can get away with it. But this, right? This is dealing with moral hazard. So I'm guessing that in Canada, if you call an ambulance and if it's not medically necessary, it sounds like they bill you more for it. I wonder what the max cost can be. But then, but they also all have to pay into the insurance as well. Do you believe in Medicare for all? Not like the plan that Bernie put. No, I think it would be the furthest like left healthcare plan in the world. But in terms of do I think public options would be good, or even a single payer system? Probably. I feel like every other system in the world, every other country seems to use these systems and they have decent results. Like whether multi-payer or a single payer, whatever, I don't have strong opinions on what it should be, but. Destiny, what about the cases where you're not conscious when the ambulance was called? Why pay for a decision you didn't make? My guess is if you were unconscious, you probably needed the ambulance. Destiny, I was a 911 dispatcher for a company for 2 to 3 years, and during COVID, if I run out of units, I have to ask for mutual aid from adjacent counties. It adds like 20 minutes to the response time. It just seems weird that you don't talk about the problems with underconsumption of healthcare. It just depends on what. Here's the reality. I want poor people to die in the United States. Clip me for Hassan's stream so you can go over this. If you're poor in the US and you get sick, you should die. Strengthen the gene pool. Boom. There you go. Okay? Yes, that is my take. Yeah, that is my perspective. Yes, you got me. Okay, now that take is done, one of the reasons why certain types of public provided healthcare is valuable is because having people getting screened or checked for conditions ahead of time can actually lead to a reduction in the cost of healthcare. If you get tested, for instance, if you catch cancer earlier, then it's probably a lot cheaper than if you catch it at an advanced stage. Or if you get some sort of like preventative screening for some other condition or whatever, like when you catch conditions ahead of time, those things are cheaper. I don't think that's bad. I think it's good. I think it's totally good. That's fine. Destiny crashes out and goes mask off. True. Overconsumption is bad, but insurance companies do deny claims in some cases because the appeals process can be complicated and difficult, and they know that some customers won't appeal a valid claim, and it saves them money. I doubt that's the case. But I mean, I know I sound crazy, but like the idea that like you guys don't even know the people that work in these companies. Like the people who are in charge of appealing of approving or denying these. I know people that work these jobs. You sit on your computer, okay? And if anybody, by the way, that actually works these jobs and wants to come in and talk about it, let me know. You sit at your computer and this is what happens. A thing comes in and it goes, oh, doctor is requesting this, okay? And then they have another screen and it says, here are our standards of care and here's what we provide. And then you look at this, you make sure there are no contraindications for the prescription or the treatment or whatever. And then as long as everything matches and you click okay, approve, or you see there's a contraindication or there's some other thing that you suggest first, you go, oh, okay, deny. That's how it is. The CEO is not walking up and down the aisles and being like, oh, that motherfucker, deny them. We need to make more money on that. Or like, oh, today, guys, lottery day, if the person that you're approving or denying care for, if their name starts with the letter D, we deny today because D for denial, fuck them, making more money today. Or, guys, it's December, you want your Christmas bonuses? Highest denial server or highest denial worker gets a bonus, $40,000 on your paycheck. Like, this doesn't happen. The parts of these systems and the employees that work on them are so disconnected from the actual CEOs themselves. The idea that there's like some guy just like, oh, deny, fuck you, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just not how these jobs work. Oh, Jesus. Do you think there's no companies where management doesn't have KPIs based on how many claims get denied? I don't even know. I seriously doubt that. And if it was, I'm pretty sure it would be illegal. And I'm not even sure if it would make sense. Like, my assumption would be, assuming I understand that ACA provision, you would probably want to approve more than deny because then you could make more money on your administrative costs because your administrative costs always have to be 20%, 80%. So if you're approving more medical coverage, then it probably allows you to charge more premiums to your customers because otherwise you can't be having, if you deny too much and your administrative costs are too high, you'll fall out of the 20/80 rule. And then I think you get in trouble for that. So, but think what you want, okay? I don't care. Give me your best guess on where the 68,000 dead from preventable death relating to denial comes from. Shit's sus, and my best guess is it's a matter of time. I don't know. I'd have to see where the number comes from. I'm sure there are denials that shouldn't happen for one reason or another. Either the insurance company is misapplying their own policy, or a mistake happens in the insurance company, or a doctor writes something wrong, or something. I'm sure that these happen. I'm not saying it's impossible for it to happen. I just don't think somebody's pushing the kill grandma button because the CEO wants to make an extra $10,000. I don't think that's happening, ever. And I think it's a ridiculously absurd reductio of how any of these systems work. That like one day a guy's like, today? Most of these companies don't do manual approval / denial until an appeal is submitted. Oh, maybe. I had a friend who worked and she did appeals or denials based on what was being requested. She might have only done pharmaceutical stuff. I don't know if she did like surgeries, but I think it was just drugs. And she got the patient information would come in, and then it would show like the patient chart, like the history, what the doctor was trying to prescribe. And then it would show the, not that I ever saw any of these things ever, because this would be HIPAA violation. And then it would show like, well, here is what we recommend, and here's what we cover. And then it just makes sure there's no like contraindications. You check for this, you scroll through, you read it, and then you just approve or deny based on what you get that comes in or whatever. Yeah. Destiny on full strawman mode. You're permaban. Bye. See you later. If you're only at level of engagement, it's just like strawman. Yeah, then you're gone. Bye. I don't even know why you would watch my stream. Little bro is really stupid on this one. Actually, this is the perfect example of a tone deaf devil. Listen, yes. If my take here triggers you, then please, I just want you to know. I genuinely want you to know, okay? All right? I hope one day that I get canceled, okay? I hope that one day I can't stream anymore, because if that happens to me, I will get a job working for one of these companies. I will take my whole list of subscribers and people that were watching my content, and I will cross-reference you with every single drug referral that I get, and I will deny every single one intentionally, okay? I will do that for all of you, just to know that I'm making you or your family suffer, okay? If you're watching me because you just agree with some of my takes, all right, and then you hardcore fucking disagree with this one, not for any rational reason, just because you emotionally disagree with this one, then don't watch my content. I don't like you, and I don't want you here, okay? Leave, because because the longer you stay here, the higher the chance is that I will get your first and last name, and I will deny all the drug coverage, I'll work for every insurance company in the world. I will deny every form of insurance. I will be the guy, okay? There will be a hurricane at your house, and I'm going to be the adjuster that shows up and be like, I think you damaged this fence yourself. denial of coverage. Your grandma's going to say, I need chemotherapy. And I'm going to say, I think she got cancer from playing League of Legends. Denied. Okay, I'm going to deny all the coverage. So if the CEO isn't responsible, couldn't you then also argue that a president is not responsible for their army's actions? Isn't it about the system they built in the policy? No. When I say the CEO is not responsible, the CEO is responsible for the running of the company. What I'm saying is that the thing that you think is happening is not happening. The CEO is not running around denying individual claims because he hates you. If you had to create the most moral version of the healthcare system, what would you change? In my opinion, the most moral healthcare system is one where you identify a bare level of this is what every single person should have. So if this is no healthcare coverage, you identify a level that every single person should have this. You tax the population appropriately so that every single person has this. And then you have the ability to buy private insurance if people want to have like the extra, the nurses that jerk you off, or the hospital beds that are also water beds, or the hospital rooms that have, 4K TVs in them so you can watch streams together. This would be, in my opinion, like the most moral system is one where a base level of coverage is provided to every citizen that's funded by taxpayers. And then you have the option to buy private insurance or more if you want to get sloppy toppy when you go to get your fucking blood drawn or some shit. Who thinks the CEO is doing that? I think everyone's talking about their company policy control. But then why are people celebrating the fact that a CEO just got fucking murked in the street? Why do you feel about public options, or how do you feel about creating a price floor in the premiums and thus raising healthcare prices to a level matching the health liability of society? It makes federalized public option bad in the U.S. because we're all fat and gay. What? I probably missed you going over this earlier, but was there like an explainable justification for the year-over-year increase for claim denials from UHC at such abnormal above average rates? I only saw one article talking about the increase in denials. This is the only thing that I'll warn you about. And I don't care. I don't care if you believe me or not, but for when you go on to other topics where you're less emotionally invested, anytime people are trying to prove an increase or a decrease in any economic measure, in any healthcare measure, in anything related to anything, if they're showing you numbers from like 2020 to 2024, they're probably lying to you. If you want to have the best opinion, it's probably best to have the exact opposite take from whatever that person is saying, because everybody knows that 2021, that the COVID years were an insane outlier for healthcare everything. So anybody that's trying to prove or disprove some claim and they're showing you a 4-year data set, you should probably think, wait a second. But didn't COVID represent like an insane outlier in like every outcome related to the economy, related to healthcare? Like, it's probably not going to be, the best argument. What's the evidence that people in other countries are significantly overusing healthcare? They go to doctors more frequently, but not by a ton. Only works if you assume the U.S. doesn't underuse. I don't think there's evidence in other countries that people significantly overuse their healthcare. But usually in other countries, I think there are like copays or there are costs associated with a lot of the things that they do. Like, people don't understand that Bernie's plan for healthcare was the most extreme plan that would have existed on the face of the earth. But for some reason, progressives convinced themselves that it's normal, that every country in Europe has banned all private insurance, has made it so there's zero copay for all drugs, that there's zero copay for every hospital visit, and that dental and vision are included in the socialized healthcare plan. There is not a single other healthcare plan in the world that is like this. But Americans think this. Americans think, like, oh yeah, well, if you're in Europe, vision and dental are covered. You pay absolutely nothing for all of your drugs. There's no copay for anything. There's no deduction for anything. That's just not true. No healthcare coverage in the planet works like that. But Americans think that's like normal. Do you think that at the least we shouldn't have publicly traded companies that are legally obligated to maximize profits managing something as vital as healthcare? Is there not a conflict of interest? If you don't want to maximize profits, then the next question is, well, then what should they maximize? What's the decision there? Public health, healthy people. What does that even mean? Maximize life? Hold on. Like, you're the dipshit that just said earlier in chat that I was being bad fit. Hold on. You didn't even prove your... I'm just reading a message from Sam. You didn't even prove your point, LOL. You're being so weird right now. Maximize life? What does that mean? So if you go to the hospital and you're sick with anything, should they just like fucking knock you out and put you in a coma and then stick you in a machine for the rest of your life to maximize how many years you're alive? Like, what? Should they maximize patient outcome? What does that mean? You don't even know what you're asking for. You don't even know what you're trying to maximize. Do you want accessibility so the most amount of people can go to the hospital? Do you want to maximize for wait time? So if you schedule an appointment, it's guaranteed to be within a month. Do you want to maximize access to the latest drugs and best medical treatments? Do you want to maximize like inpatient care? Do you want to like? There's a million different things that you can optimize for. Currently, Destiny's being obtuse. Nope, you're obtuse because now you're banned. And now that you're banned from my stream, you're going to be depressed. You're going to eat too much ice cream. You're going to get fat, and you're going to be literally obtuse. Destiny, stop playing dumb. You just... Okay, never mind. My bad. Okay, moving on, because this topic is a brain rot topic. You should maximize for everything. True. Patient outcome is very easily tracked. You can't increase every single patient outcome. There are trade-offs. You can't increase everything. Why is the screen small? I don't know. You have to make compromises in areas. You can't have everything. Nope. This is Americans' problems. You guys think you can have everything, and you can't. What would it take to change your mind on this? You seem to be a lone voice in the wilderness on this. Just to be clear, the majority of economists and healthcare professionals agree with me. So that's not true. I'm not a lone voice on this. The only thing that it would take to change my mind is just some point of data or something where somebody's making a coherent argument that's not just a soy fucking laden argument from a bunch of middle-class white people who don't even consume healthcare saying everybody should have every single fucking thing for free all the time, always, like Bernie Sanders. That's all it would take. Just one thing.